Hi, Misha here, and I'm not wearing shoes. And this is a gun that it was a bit of an adventure to get out to the cabin on this go-round to review. You know what it is by now. Several more prominent YouTube channels have already looked it over, although it's come to America very quickly after its introduction to the world. The Croatian HS Produkts Kuna. Obviously, the militarized select fire version, submachine gun with folding and adjustable stock. Over here, we get a single shot only version, semi-automatic, I should say, with optional folding arm brace on a 1913 rail rear section. But you know, in other ways, same gun. And since this is a pistol, it's straight from Croatia, made over there. But the best part about this thing, it's imported by Springfield, and they didn't give it a stupid name. I still maintain that the worst part about the Hellion bullpup is the name. I really like the VHS2, and several friends own them now. And they are the same folks who make this, and for that matter, the Springfield XD. Not a horrible name either. But they've been doing this Hellcat, Hellion cat name thing. But Kuna, well, that's the submachine gun's official name, kind of like Scorpion or what have you. And the one we're getting, at least to begin with, is the 9mm NATO number 19. I believe the first full production version of this was actually in 40 Smith & Wesson. Remember that cartridge? Yeah. Just about the time you think it's gone for good, it comes back. In fact, this was originally adopted in 40 Smith & Wesson down in Brazil. So this review is going to be in kind of two sections. This first section at night, just got it in, just unboxed it. I'm going to give my initial impressions before firing it. Then we're going to load it up tomorrow and shoot it. And then see, first of all, how reliable it is. I'm expecting good things based on that. And, you know, how I like how it shoots, better or worse. Because I have quite a bit of trigger time with other very similar, I would say PCC types, but this is just a pistol caliber pistol. Arm brace is a little stiff. So I do have a pretty wide basis of comparison. But first, as always, if you could, please do like, share, and subscribe. Like to help us. Check out Patreon, yada yada. Let's just get into it. It was a bit of an adventure getting this, as I said. It was supposed to come in a couple of days before I left to come out to the cabin. Well, thanks to a couple of delays over at FedEx, which I still don't know why, it came in after I was already out here. So I had to go back into town and then literally chase a FedEx driver around town to get it from him. That's the level of dedication I bring. Because I was curious. You know, this is a pretty conventional modern PDW or submachine gun. This modern trend kind of began around 2015, at least the semi-automatics here, with the Scorpion Evo 3. And since that time, we've had all kinds of cool guns. Berger and Thomat, B&T has done the APC series. We have the Strybogs from Grand Power. First the A1 direct blowback, and then the A3, the roller delay blowback. And we've also been honestly blessed with all the HK roller type guns that have come in. Most recently we did a video on the AP53, the 223 HK53 out of Turkey. But we've had, of course, the POFs and even real HKs. We're not wanting for choice when it comes to this style of gun. So, one has to ask, what sets this apart from all the other options out there? Fair question. There are lots of good striker-fired handguns on the market today, but it's such a busy market. Well, the PCC market, or PCP market in this case, not quite as crowded, but it's getting there. On the other hand, 9mm, a lot cheaper to shoot than a lot of other cartridges. Real quick though, basic specs and rundown for this guy. We've got a 6-inch barrel. It is cold hammer forged. It is threaded half by 28 on the HS Product website, they do say it's for user suppressors, so I'm going to assume for now the threads are concentric. It's basically free-floated. We have an aluminum alloy square receiver, metal top rail, 2-slot M-lock side and bottom. We have flip-up iron sights, which is pretty cool. Well, for you, more than me. When they're down, they just act as pistol sights, post, and then they flip up, kind of an HK style disc adapter, and are actually adjustable for windage and elevation. And they're built in. Look, in this day and age, it's just nice to get backup iron sights. So many guns just don't come with them. So that's neat. We have a single point sling attachment here or on the other side. As I already mentioned, a pick rail back here. We have a non-reciprocating handle that also folds. I'm going to say off the bat, just messing with it, I really like this charging handle. It's metal, not plastic. It feels very sturdy. It's got kind of a slight hook shape to it. It's plenty large. I can easily get 2 fingers on it. Folds up easy. And what's kind of fun, if you had 2 of these, you can actually install, I believe, on either, put one on each side to have double, kind of like a B&T. Or you can just simply reverse it to the other side. The other controls, pretty standard. Dual bolt release, dual mag catch, and a bit extra safety. I'll talk more about that in a minute. I have thoughts. The front of the mag well is patterned for kind of gripping like this. It even has a little bit of a finger groove there. The pistol grip, AR-15 standard, and it's very much like you'd see on other Springfields, other HS products. Got a bit of a gunfighter texture. It's a semi-rough texture. Not too bad, frankly. Nice, large, fat-faced trigger. It's really, frankly, very nice. Very short pull. Pretty light. I really like the trigger. Again, just dry firing. Relatively large trigger guard, although it is fixed. And we do have a nice, easily accessible storage compartment. I've noticed with a lot of storage compartment grips these days, they're there, but you need an act of Congress and a letter from the Pope, RIP, to get in there. This one's easy enough to open up. So if you're going to have a storage compartment, make it easily accessible without tools, fingernails, because you're getting in there to get tools or cleaning gears or batteries and whatnot. Again, it comes for us with the folding brace. I will give credit, this brace arm is metal, not plastic, although this piece back here is plastic. That's okay. In fact, a lot of this gun is lightweight metal. The whole top, like I said, the rails, the lower frame chunk, plastic, and then of course the magazines. I thought about showing the package it comes in. There's nothing special to it. It's just a cardboard box, although it does come with a couple of tools, but at least you do get 2 mags. That's the good news, and they are standard capacity mags. The bad news is, for some, these are proprietary. The good news is Springfield, who's a big company, and HS Product, who's not small, spare mags are coming, and they're supposed to be like $25 new. Frankly, I'm fine with it. I didn't mind when the Scorpion Evo 3 had its own mags. I'm not a big fan of Glock mags in pistol caliber carbines or submachine guns, frankly. The main reason is the double feed single stack that Glock mags do. I like the double feed. In fact, well, it is metal reinforced on the lips here too. They're kind of a dark translucent. The base plates feel sturdy, but only time will tell how well they hold up. I'm only pointing that out because one of the issues with the B&T style mags is they are known for splitting on their base plates, something that Beretta did fix with the PMX mag. The selector, at least new out of the box, it's stiff. Not the worst, but I do hope it does break in. Stock folding mechanism's also a little stiff, but not too bad. The supplied muzzle brake slash flash hider? I don't know. Is interesting. Hey, at least it's just not a nut or a typical bird cage. Fit and finish seems good. Upper to lower fit, nice and tight. The only thing rattling is the plate down here. If I hold it, it's tight as can be. And disassembly is exactly what you'd expect. Although, there is our first kind of surprise when I went to push the push pins. Which goes to show us there's some innovation here. There's also some serious copycatting. We have 2 captive pins. And you can push them out by hand. It's a little tight, but you can do it, like on an AR. But when we take them off, we have kind of our first little surprise. One pin stays with the lower, and one pin stays with the upper, which is the receiver. That's actually not a bad idea for tensioning purposes and whatnot. That way they kind of put pressure across each other. Let's set this aside for just a second. Look at the lower. Again, it's polymer. I do like that the hammer is metal, not plastic. As for the gun itself, pretty standard disassembly. This, of course, is a block back here in and of itself. You just pop it out like you do most others. Kind of slide it down and then tilt it out. Not really a buffer back here, just polymer. And that gives us access to our insides. Have kind of a synthetic nylon style block. Very small, basic recoil spring back here. That's because this is not just a blowback gun. And because of that, it's semi-locked in place. Let me move that there. Our bolt. And then there's a little bit of a hitch at the back when you pull it out. Just grab onto it good and yank. And here's our system. First, though, here's our insides, just because. Fixed ejector, hollow up above the barrel. And if this looks similar to a B&T APC, you're bang on. At least in this concept cross-section. It's definitely inspired by that new style. However, this bolt, this is essentially a Strybog A3 style roller. But it has one extremely important improvement, something I suggested way back in the Strybog video we did. The roller is here. It operates the same way. This is jammed forward, and then it comes back and resistance and everything. But with the Strybog, this pin just is there. In fact, the first time I took apart a Strybog A3, the pin just fell out. And I was like, oh crap, where did that pin come from and go? This one's actually held in with spring tension. So to pull it out, you actually squeeze in and then it can come out. I'm not going to disassemble fully here, you get the idea. But the fact is, this is a militarized version of the Strybog A3 bolt where you just don't have pieces going flying everywhere. It's also relatively lightweight. We do have a firing pin hammer safety here, which I actually like for safety. And the nice thing about using a roller system like this, or in the Strybog, instead of just a straight blowback, is you have much lower mass moving back and forth, and you should have agitation in the delay for cycling. And I mean, this is one reason the MP5 is known for being relatively easy to charge, use, relatively low, smooth, light recoil impulse. So the concept here is we're having a roller system. This moves up and down, in a track, by the way, with similar mechanical properties to an MP5, but you don't have to have the two exacting rollers and the mortises and the trunnion, so it's more economical to produce. It's also just more of an aesthetically pleasing bolt versus the Strybog with these kind of lightning cuts in the angled top and everything else. But the question is the system worth it? How's the recoil? One thing's for sure, can't complain about disassembly and reassembly. It is as straightforward, simple, and frankly smooth as can be. And just messing with them, feeling them, loading them a bit, practicing. I like the mags too. They feel like a refined version of a Scorpion mag. All that won't matter for a hill of beans if it doesn't shoot well. So, my initial impressions, I like it. Quality manufacturing is what I kind of expect from HS Produkts. It's mildly innovative, although gotta give credit to B&T and Strybog. It definitely was inspired by them, and for that matter, Scorpion, CZ with all that. But that's okay. You know, everyone iterates, everyone develops based on someone else. But just messing with it here, it doesn't jump out at me one way or the other. I have to know how it handles at the range. So, with no further ado, let's load it up and take it out. Alright, first shots, and boy, that is a stiff safety. This is S&B 124. Held open. Okay. Now let's try it with the 124 Phoenix stuff. Safety is loosening up, thank goodness. A little more felt recoil with the Phoenix, but nothing bad. Alright, put some more of the S&B in. I'm gonna try it as a pistol with the brace folded in, just to say we did it. Obviously the controls on this side are obscured. You can still kind of get to them, but the grippy area is a little harder to do. Not the worst, but yeah, definitely better. Better with the brace. Clear there. Initial impressions with two types of 124 grain ammo. Obviously 100% reliable. Didn't really expect anything less. It doesn't do the teeter-totter thing with the bolt bouncing back and forth where you notice it. That's because, like I just showed earlier, it's a relatively light bolt for what it is. I definitely didn't find it thumpy, and this ammo, especially the Phoenix, is relatively hotly loaded. The complaint I had about the safety being stiff seems to be working out. We'll see how it goes the rest of the day. I do like the gripping surfaces. Obviously the sights I can't tell you much about, but at least they're there. That's always a good thing. The brace locks up nice and tight, and the mags are easy to load, and we tried both mags there. Initial impressions, I have no real complaints, but the question is, does this stand out from the pack? Is it different from any of the other little PCPs out there today? Alright, let's load up some more of that S&B. I'll float the sights for you guys, because they're really useful to me, I tell you. Really do like that charging handle. Now let's try more or less full mag with the Phoenix. Yeah, I feel it more in the Phoenix. Nice trigger though. Stiff safety, but it's getting better. So after shooting it a little more, It definitely has a recoil impulse, of course. Part of it is I've got this against meat that is literally got an edge to it. But not bad for 124, basically NATO spec ammo. Brass, steel, whatever. It has some recoil to be felt, but again, doesn't do the teeter-totter thing, which really bothers me. The muzzle doesn't want to climb. It's just a very straight back push, kind of like an AR. So if I'm going to have felt recoil, that's what I like. And the bolt throw is smooth, and that helps a lot. So as it recoils, it doesn't beat you up too bad.
We're good right there.
All right, back with the Phoenix, and I will say, topped off the mag. I did have to slap it in pretty good, but everything is new. Good news is the safety is getting easier. Let's try a couple of little bursts. Not bad. I do like the control placement. Gets my fingers well. The safety's a little, maybe that's why I have a little trouble, but the release and the mag catch are in good spots, in my opinion. See, the good location there. And I wanted to do a little rapid firing. I've been keeping my hand here, but even putting it out here, I still, with the muzzle there, comfortable here, but because it is pretty, I guess you call it free floated. It's not warming up, and it's had a couple hundred rounds to it. Pretty quick succession. And if you had some kind of rubber covers on there, you definitely wouldn't notice it. I definitely think I would want to go with some kind of angled foregrip, or fast BR it, or at least some kind of stop. I feel like I want something there to keep my hand from riding out. The barrel is, or the muzzle rather, is quite warm. But no, even rapid firing, the recoil and everything is not shabby at all, frankly. Let's see how easy this brace is to fold. It's stiff, but it's acceptable, frankly. So, does it stand out from the pack? I'm not there yet, but it definitely doesn't have any major shortcomings, or really any minor ones apparent yet. All right, let's try some 115 grain Phoenix brass case out of the Kuna. Held open. Can't see fairer than that. What'd you think?
It was good.
Did you actually use the sights?
No. I just kind of saw where the bullet was going.
I'll load up a couple more and let you try those sights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess there are the notches when it's folded down at least, but you can flip them up for more precise sighting.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Yeah, that helped a lot more.
The sights, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, wrapping things up on the porch here. It's a nice day after all, weather-wise and Kuna-wise. So what are my final thoughts after the first range day? First off, No malfunctions at all. We tried 2 different grain weights in the Phoenix ammo. We tried some S&B, and I think it was some PPU, whatever else. A couple of different types. 115, 124 grain. No issues. We also used both provided mags. No problem loading them. Both worked fine, as you'd expect and hope. And both held the bolt back on empty, which you can do manually very easily with this paddle here. So I like the controls. In fact, I really like the controls. First off, there's a lot of symmetry. The same kind of texturing is on everything. The grip here, pistol grip, the edge of the safety. It's very uniform. As I thought, even before shooting it, I like the trigger. Follow-up shots, no problemo. The safety, still not my favorite, but at least it doesn't stick out. It didn't seem like it dug into the hand, and it does seem to be loosening up. Gripping here, no problem. Out here, I wouldn't use it unless I had a... I do think this is a good candidate for an angled foregrip. At the very least, I would want to put a stop and some rubber cover there. 2 full slots here. This looks like it's a kind of half slot here, unfortunately. You can still use it, but it does limit it a bit. As for the muzzle device, it seems to work fine. Obviously, we didn't unscrew it today, just initial testing. And obviously, the sights I can't tell you anything about, but you got a little bit of a go there with the neighbor down the street who comes over to help me sometimes, so I appreciate that. The sights are fine. As he was saying, if you're going to be using it with this arm brace, the notches are really too low, so you want to use the provided adjustables. However, if you fire this as a traditional pistol with the brace folded, then the notches are useful, which makes sense. As for this folding brace, this is a Strike Industries. It's absolutely fine. It didn't work loose. The edge isn't the most comfy. I wouldn't want to shoot this with a 308 or even a 223. But since this 9mm isn't at all the harshest recoiling, it was absolutely fine. You can let me know how you think it looks, but seems to line up with the firearm Jim Dandy. And again, you can either just take it off, or you can even purchase a version if you want that doesn't come with it at all, because you have your standard pick rail. No surprises at all. So in conclusion, I think HS Product, Croatia, Springfield by extension, has a very solid gun on their hands. I can't say that it's just oodles better than other guns. If it had come out 10 years ago, I think it really would have been a splash. That's not to say it's bad now. With a 6-inch barrel, it's not super short, but not super long. I do like that length. You know, it seems like a lot of guns are either 4.5, 5 inches, or they're 8 inches. 6 is a good in between. That's about as much as you're going to get out of most 9mm, but still being compact. So I do like the size. The weight is fine. The balance is fine. The construction feels very durable. Even after shooting it all day, it hasn't worked loose. It hasn't become rattly. Again, the only thing that rattles is the lid there. So not at all disappointed. But will it make a splash in the market? To be determined. But what I do think is cool is this just released on the international market as a select fire gun, and then we got it here in America in 9mm. They say a 40 Smith & Wesson version is coming out. Brazil has already adopted it for their police in 40 Smith & Wesson. That has no interest for me. But it's cool though that it is. They say in the literature that it was actually designed around 40 Smith & Wesson, which means it's overbuilt for 9mm, even 9mm NATO, even 9mm plus P. But They say a 45 version's coming. That might be kind of cool. But what I think might be really neat is a 10 mil version. Because while 10 mil handguns, okay, you can make an argument for 40 Smith & Wesson, kind of scaling it down for controllability. I do think the recoil impulse on this was light enough and controllable enough, especially, that I would actually really enjoy trying this in 10. So if that version comes out, or a conversion kit, yeah, I would happily check it out. So personally, get on that. We need a reliable 10 mil just for some change. And I actually have a box of 10 mil in there that I've been wanting to try out. But yeah, initial review. Everything's perfectly good. In no way disappointed. Initial impressions, this seems like a great companion to things like the Hellion, the Hellcat, the XD, right along them in terms of quality and all that. And I like how easy it is to take apart. And I like how, as I said earlier, that they've taken the Strybog A3 roller system and made it military grade as far as disassembly. And I do think it helped because you don't have a huge mass moving back and forth. And the bolt is easy to charge. Because on a direct blowback, trying to overcome a big old spring, you've got a lot going on there. But the spring's relatively light on this. Control placement's good. Alrighty, guys. That's my kind of initial off-the-cuff review. But let me know what you think. Finally, though, I do think the price point's hard to argue with. These are very competitive with Strybogs, with several others, with the cheaper MP5s out there. Much cheaper than an APC. I like B&T guns, but boy howdy, they're getting pricey compared to other offerings out there. And offerings that come pretty much fully loaded out of the gate like this. So stock here. There you go. See, pretty compact package. But it does ask to be tried out suppressed, so I give it something maybe to try out next time. Anywho, if you'd like to help support us, check out the link to Patreon. If you can't, that's also understandable. But you can like and share and also comment, because it's always fun to talk about new products as they come out. And again, this is just an initial impression. The gun, as I'm recording this, has been out a week. But let me know what you think. This is Misha. Catch you very soon. Next time.